personal top 3 favorite stories.
Story 1. My best friend is dating my ex, and it's complicated. I'm Alex, 28, and I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. A few months ago, I broke up with my girlfriend, Jamie, after a 2-year relationship. It was tough. We had built a life together, and I still cared about her deeply. The breakup wasn't a messy one, but it still hurt like hell. Just as I was starting to move on, my best friend, Jake, decided to make a move on Jamie. At first, it didn't bother me. I figured they would have some chemistry, given how attractive Jake is, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. A few weeks after the breakup, I found out they were dating. My heart sank when I saw them together at a party we both attended. I thought it was bad timing, and I was left feeling betrayed. Update 1. I confronted Jake about it the next day. I asked him why he didn't come to me first and whether he had feelings for her while we were still together. He insisted he didn't, he just found himself drawn to her once I was out of the picture. I felt like he was brushing off my feelings, and that angered me. We ended the conversation on bad terms. The weeks that followed were tough. I tried to keep my distance from both of them, but they kept showing up in places I frequented. It felt like they were parading their relationship in front of me. I'd catch glimpses of them laughing, holding hands, and sharing little inside jokes. Each encounter stung like a fresh wound. Update 2. One night, I bumped into Jamie at a coffee shop. I didn't want to talk to her, but she approached me. We had a long conversation, and she opened up about her feelings for Jake. She told me she had never intended for things to happen this way, but she couldn't help it. I tried to be supportive, but inside, I felt rage and betrayal. How could they both do this to me? To complicate matters, Jamie admitted she still had unresolved feelings for me. This made me question everything. Did she truly move on with Jake, or was this some sort of rebound? As the days turned into weeks, I found myself more and more consumed by jealousy and confusion. Update 3. Things escalated when Jake planned a surprise birthday party for Jamie, and he invited me. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to refuse, but I didn't want to create more distance. I thought maybe I could swallow my pride and show up for the sake of friendship. As I walked into the venue, I felt sick to my stomach. Jamie was radiant, and Jake had this smug grin on his face. During the party, I noticed Jamie looking at me differently. She seemed torn, and I could see the conflict in her eyes. I couldn't help but feel like I was still part of her heart. But when I pulled Jake aside to talk, he was dismissive, insisting that Jamie had moved on and that I should too. Update 4. As the night progressed, things took an unexpected turn. Jamie and I found ourselves alone outside for a moment. She confessed that she felt pressured to choose between Jake and me, and that the relationship with Jake was moving too fast for her. It was a pivotal moment. I told her I still had feelings for her, and she admitted that she missed our connection. Just as I thought we were on the brink of something, Jake stepped outside, catching us in a vulnerable moment. His face twisted with anger. "What's going on here?" he demanded. Jamie was caught off guard, and the tension was palpable. I realized I was in a love triangle, and the fallout could shatter our friendship. Now I'm left with a decision to make. Do I pursue Jamie, risking my friendship with Jake? Or do I let go of what could have been and walk away from both of them? Reddit, I need your advice. Story 2. My in-laws want to move in, and my spouse is on board. My name is Karen, 35, and I'm at my wit's end. My husband, Mike, 37, and I have been married for 8 years, and we have 2 beautiful kids. We've always had a great relationship with my in-laws, but things took a bizarre turn recently. My in-laws, who are in their late 60s, have fallen on tough times financially. They approached us a month ago, asking if they could move in temporarily until they got back on their feet. At first, I was sympathetic. They've always treated us well, and I didn't want to let them down. But the more I thought about it, the more uneasy I became. Our house isn't huge, and we value our privacy. Plus, I was concerned about how their presence would affect our family dynamic. Update 1. Mike, on the other hand, was all for it. He insisted we should help family in need. After some back and forth, we settled on a trial period of 3 months. The moment my in-laws moved in, everything changed. They took over the living room, leaving their stuff everywhere. It felt suffocating, like our home was no longer ours. But the real issues started when they began offering unsolicited parenting advice. I love my kids, but my in-laws have a very different approach to parenting, one that clashed with how Mike and I raised our children. They would undermine my authority in front of the kids, which frustrated me to no end. Update 2. Things reached a boiling point one evening when my in-laws decided to take my kids out without asking. I was livid. I confronted them when they returned, and my father-in-law brushed me off, saying they were just trying to help. Mike tried to play mediator, but I snapped, insisting they needed to respect our boundaries. After that incident, things were awkward. My in-laws started retreating into their rooms, and Mike felt torn between us. The tension hung thick in the air. I felt guilty for creating such a divide, but didn't know how to fix it. Update 3. A week later, I suggested a family meeting to clear the air. We all gathered in the living room, and I expressed my concerns about boundaries and parenting. To my surprise, my in-laws admitted they felt like outsiders in their own son's home. They were hurt that I was not more grateful for their help. It turned into a back-and-forth discussion, and I realized there were deeper issues at play. They were struggling with their identity and self-worth, having lost their financial independence. I felt empathy for them, but also frustration that they weren't respecting our family unit. Update 4. Eventually, we reached a compromise. They agreed to respect our parenting style and give us more space. In return, I promised to help them with their finances, guiding them through budgeting and finding assistance programs. It's been a few weeks since we established this new dynamic, and things have improved dramatically. My in-laws are learning to navigate their new roles, and Mike feels more confident as a husband and father. However, I'm left wondering if this will last or if the old patterns will resurface. I've learned a lot about compassion and communication through this experience, but I still question whether we should have taken them in at all. What do you think, Reddit? AITA for wanting boundaries in my own home? Story 3, my friend's unbelievable transformation after a breakup. I'm Lisa, 26, and I'm here to share a story about my best friend, Clara, 25. We've been inseparable since college, always lifting each other up through our various ups and downs. But Clara's recent breakup with her boyfriend, Tom, 28, turned her life upside down in the most shocking way. Clara and Tom dated for 3 years, and it seemed like they were going to get married. I always admired their relationship. But when Clara found out Tom had been cheating on her with her coworker, she was devastated. She was heartbroken, feeling betrayed, and turned to me for support. At first, I tried to help her through it. She was crying every day, replaying what went wrong. I encouraged her to channel her feelings into something positive. After a couple of weeks, Clara took my advice to heart and decided to transform her life. Update 1. Clara signed up for a gym membership and started working out like a madwoman. She also revamped her diet and began posting her progress on social media. It was incredible to see her regain her confidence. She started looking fantastic, but the changes went beyond just her appearance. Clara's personality began to shift too. She was becoming more assertive and self-assured. Her social media following grew, and soon she was getting requests for fitness advice and motivation. I felt a mix of pride and concern. Clara was thriving, but also seemed to be seeking validation in a way I hadn't seen before. Update 2. Fast forward a few months, and Clara was unrecognizable, physically and emotionally. She'd lost a significant amount of weight, toned up, and developed a vibrant, radiant energy. People began approaching her to ask for fitness tips, and she started hosting workout sessions at the local park. It was great to see her doing well, but there was also something unsettling about her transformation. She began distancing herself from me and our old friends, claiming they were holding her back. I tried to remind her of our friendship and the foundation we built together, but she brushed it off, saying she needed to focus on her new life. It felt like I was losing my best friend to this new persona. Update 3. Then came a pivotal moment. Clara reached out one night, sobbing on the phone. She confided that she was struggling with the pressure of maintaining her new image. It was exhausting to keep up with her social media persona, and she felt like she was losing touch with who she really was. I was relieved to hear her vulnerability, and I encouraged her to take a break from social media and reconnect with what truly mattered. I told her it was okay to be imperfect and that she didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Update 4. Clara took my advice and decided to step back from the spotlight. She started spending time with old friends, including me, and we began to rebuild our connection. I was overjoyed, but I still worried about how much her breakup had changed her. One day, Clara invited me over for a home-cooked dinner, and it felt like old times. We laughed, reminisced, and talked about everything, our dreams, fears, and even her journey to find herself again. However, just as I thought we were back on track, Clara dropped a bombshell. She had received an offer for a fitness influencer partnership that could change her life. She was torn between embracing this opportunity and staying true to herself. I encouraged her to follow her dreams, but also reminded her to stay grounded. Now, Clara is at a crossroads, and I'm left wondering how this next chapter will unfold. Will she chase fame and success, or will she find a balance that honors her past? Reddit, what would you do in my shoes? Should I support her new journey, or should I worry that she's losing herself again?